G'day, folks. This is your detailed market review for the Shuswap Revelstoke area for June of 2026. It is a relatively decent market, fairly flat, but the Revelstoke area has a little bit of a unique difference in that it seems to, because of the ski hill, it seems to draw some higher end purchasers, some higher end owners. Revelstoke's putting in this golf course, which I mentioned last month, which is going to further sort of separate it out to be more of a recreational destination than a full-time destination. And you can see this in the absorption as the rest of British Columbia and the rest of the country has gone through a bit of a correction since 2024. Um, the Kamloops or the Shuswap Revelstoke area has remained relatively strong. It definitely has risen since, if you look back in December of 2023, we had an absorption of 5%. Now, that was an anomaly because it went from 13 to 15 in the two months before and after. But if you look at the latest absorption figures here from January, you had 11, then 12, then 14, then 19, 17, and just about 18% here. So what that shows is there is a balance between supply and demand. That's what absorption is basically it's just dependent on the numbers of supply and demand or the forces of supply and demand. What about sales? Okay, so if we take the average sales for detached housing for January to June of this year, you look down here, it's average 36. You take January to June of last year, average 37. So perfectly flat, basically. What about prices? So we probably shouldn't see much different in prices with this absorption, or maybe even a little bit of an uptick. So let's just have a look. So you've got January to June this year. The average sale price in those 6 months of detached single family housing was 775, so 776,000, rounding up. And so from January to June of last year, it was 739. So that's actually an increase of about 5% in this year compared to last year. So the market is relatively strong in the Shuswap Revelstoke area, primarily driven by Revelstoke. And I think you'll see the market in that area, and especially Revelstoke, remain decisively strong as we get from here into the end of the year and into the first and second quarter of 2027, barring anything unusual like another war or something starting. And that's your review for the Shuswap Revelstoke area for June of 2026.